It's week 2 of the college football season, and with it comes the excitement of a home opener. UTSA and Baylor, Saturday night at the Alamo Dome. Welcome to UTSA Football Insider. I'm your host, Mike Lefko. The Roadrunners open up the 2018 home slate with the Bears, a team they beat on the road last year to start the 2017 season. More on that historic win later in the show. Also coming up, we'll hear from seniors Greg Campbell and Kevin Strong Jr., along with our weekly interviews with Andy Everett and head coach Frank Wilson. Now, although it was a 49-7 loss in week 1, there are some positives to take away from the performance against Arizona State. Josiah Tauefa was flying all over the ball last Saturday night in what certainly looked like a return to his dominant freshman year form. The junior finished with a team-high 10 tackles, including 8 solo tackles, and had a tackle for loss. And the offensive highlight came in the form of sophomore running back B.J. Daniels finding the end zone in the fourth quarter for his first career touchdown. Now the Roadrunners are back home to face Baylor for the second straight year. Last season, UTSA grinded out a 17-10 victory in its season opener. Now, 2 very different teams face off on Saturday night. Matt Rule inherited a program in the midst of an ugly scandal and struggled to 1-11 opening campaign. Now this year, Baylor opened up with a 55-27 win over Abilene Christian in a game that saw the Bears put up 606 yards of total offense. They did, however, allow over 400 yards to the Wildcats. Now, for more on what this Baylor team looks like and on UTSA's Week 2 preparations, we head to our Coach's Corner. We're here to talk a little more about Baylor in this Week 2 matchup, the home opener for UTSA, alongside head coach Frank Wilson. Pretty exciting time with this home opener. Let's talk a little bit, though, about Arizona State last week. I know there were probably some positives you saw towards the end of the game. That start, how difficult was that when all of a sudden, it's 14-0 just a couple seconds?
It happened fast. We kind of ran into a buzzsaw. They're a good football team. They're a well-coached football team. We thought we were ready to play. We were not. We were not prepared to play or to match their intensity at that time once we fell behind 14-0. I think eventually we settled down. Our defense were able to get a couple of 3-and-outs, but still sputtered offensively, and I think that affected the psyche of our football team as we went forth. But, some highlights of the game, we were extremely good on third down from an offensive standpoint, and defensively as well. I think 3 out of 10 or so we held them from a defensive standpoint. Which also says they had a lot of big play, explosive plays that we have to limit our opponent from having. We corrected a lot of things from a year ago where, from a discipline standpoint, we only had 3 total penalties, which is, you can go a game and have 2 to 3 penalties. You're doing really well. You'll probably lead the nation. So we played disciplined football, but we didn't play assignment sound, alignment sound, and the technique that we've been trained to do. So all are fixable things that we'll need to be able to fix this week in preparation for Baylor.
Yeah, as you see this weekend unfolding against Baylor, what's one thing that you really need your team to focus on?
Attention to detail of the little things. We don't have to do anything extraordinary. We just have to be fundamentally sound in our approach, get aligned, play the technique you've been trained to play, and that will be good enough. I think sometimes guys get a little nervous because they start thinking they have to do something exceptional now in front of a grand stage, and all you have to do is play the way that you've practiced, and that'll be good enough.
How exciting is this opportunity? Night game against Baylor, a Power 5 team coming in here to start your home season.
Well, it's good to be home. You miss your fans, you miss those people who love UTSA football, love our university, love our city, and we want to do a good job of putting a brand of football out there that allows them to be proud, that we can go out and compete and play to the best of our ability.
Is it something, too, where last year you had the opportunity against Houston that was literally rained away, so now you're getting this shot again to start off the slate?
Yeah, this early. It's good to start the season early on, to get that rally cry behind us. Excited about the opportunity to play here at home in the Alamo Dome. I expect that place to be rocky.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward to it. We will see you Saturday night.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Two players who could make a difference in Saturday's game include Baylor sophomore quarterback Charlie Brewer. He was named the starter in the opener and put up average numbers before leaving with an injury. Now, the Bears also used NC State transfer Jalen McClendon at quarterback last week. For UTSA, helping to stop that passing attack falls on one of the few seniors in the secondary, Darryl Godfrey, who recorded 5 tackles last week against a potent Sun Devils offense. Well, for a little more on Baylor and a brief look back at Arizona State, we welcome in the radio voice of the Roadrunners, Andy Everett. Won't dwell on the Arizona State game too much, but just your impression on that pretty impressive Arizona State offense.
Yeah, they were good, and I think UTSA's defense wasn't as bad as the score looked. They had some really negative field position. The offense gave up a touchdown early in the game. UTSA kind of got knocked in the mouth very early in the game. I thought they responded well for the most part when they had proper field position defensively. But when they didn't, Arizona State was able to take advantage of that and score.
Yeah, how tough is that when it's just a few minutes into the game and already a 14-0 hole on the road in week 1?
Well, it reminds me of what Mike Tyson used to say, everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face. And they got punched in the face. I think they responded well for about the next quarter of the game. But it was 14-0 2 minutes into the game. So they really had to regroup in a hurry. And I thought the offense did some good things that they can build on, and the defense did too. Obviously, when you had negative plays or missed tackles or something like that, then Arizona State, being as good as they were, was able to take advantage of that.
What do you think about this Baylor matchup in week 2? It looks like some very different teams from last year and a Baylor team that seems to have found a little bit of its footing under Matt Rule.
Well, I don't think Baylor has anywhere to go but up after last year. I don't think they're the cream of the crop in the Big 12, but they're certainly not Kansas either. Kansas lost to Nichols this past week, so their program is really down. I think Baylor's back on the rise a little bit. I don't expect them to finish in the top half of the Big 12, but they'll be far more challenging for UTSA this weekend, and UTSA will have to play even better than they did last year in Waco, I think, to win, which I think they're capable of.
If you want to take maybe a positive from the defense and highlight the individual performance of Josiah, we touched on it earlier in the show, the 10 tackles. How did he look to you in person?
Well, I think he always looks good. And the thing that amazes me is this guy is 6'5", 6'3", whatever he is, 245 pounds, and runs like the wind. He can get from one side of the field to the other so quickly and close so quickly. And Benjamin, the running back for Arizona State, I thought had some nice little moves, and Tauefa was able to get to him a lot the other night. So I think the sky's the limit for Josiah. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a Sunday player down the road as well.
That's Andy Everett, the radio voice of UTSA. Andy, thank you for the time.
You're welcome.
Well, the UTSA offense graduated 2 of the most instrumental receivers in program history. Now it's Greg Campbell Jr.'s turn to lead the wideouts. Find out how he's prepared himself for this moment when UTSA Football Insider returns. Welcome back to UTSA Football Insider. Senior wide receiver Greg Campbell Jr. had a breakout 2017 year, which saw him rack up 27 receptions for 300 yards. With his final season just underway, Campbell is embracing his increased responsibility in the offense.
It's very exciting just because I'm in a new role as the older guy, the senior on the team. So it's been very exciting, and I've accepted the new challenge of being the leader of that group and taking charge along with Coach Castle. So it's been fun and a learning experience.
What have you learned from kind of sitting and, yeah, you got reps last year, but, Kerry and Josh were in there kind of every single snap. What did you learn from watching them about what your responsibility will be essentially this year?
Just to do the right thing. Even when no one's watching, just do the right thing. And then when you get to play, make sure that you're doing everything right and doing everything you can to help this team, regardless of where you're at on the field. So just probably taking that from them, that's probably what I've got the most.
So this offseason, was it different for you? Was there something you worked on specifically, knowing that, hey, this is my final go-round as a senior?
More so in a leadership role and mentally off the field, trying to help the younger guys come, because we've got a lot of them. So more so off the field and just staying in some guys' ear, picking young guys up, when they're discouraged or they're feeling like the off season's too long or things like that. So just trying to be a better leader overall. I think that's I've been working on that a lot.
Is that something you embrace? Some guys aren't necessarily the loud leadership type, but is that something it sounds like you've really taken on as your own?
I've definitely embraced it, and I am one of those guys that I'm more of a lead by example. But now that I've gotten older and I see like the youth on our team and how we need to grow up a little faster in a way. So I've definitely taken charge and stepped into that role.
So a lot of it will probably fall on you and Marquez because, quarterback, young. Right. Running back, young behind Jalen. Wide receiver is pretty young behind you two.
Right.
So really, you guys you're the core of this offense, it seems like.
Yes, I agree. Me and Quez, we're bringing the group along, and then Jalen, like you said, he's one of the older guys. So yeah, we're the core, and we're going to get our guys right.
When you look back at last year, that Southern Miss game, that was a huge breakout game for you. Yeah. Was that something that you knew you always had, or was it more of, hey, the game plan kind of found you in that situation?
Yeah, I think a little of both. That game definitely carried throughout the season, and especially into the offseason, and now just my confidence, as far as playing, because I always knew I could play. It was just right time, things are going like that. So yeah, it was something I always knew I could do, but definitely the game plan definitely found me that day, and I'm glad it did because it's brought me here.
You were a quarterback in high school as well, is that right?
Yes,
so,
sir.
All right, I'm not going to ask you what you like better because obviously you've made a great career out of being a college wide receiver, but does being a quarterback, having that quarterback background, maybe help you in a sense running your routes?
I definitely agree. Just pre-snap, looking at the defense, looking at guys move around, I definitely think that more so pre-snap and watching film, things like that, I see things a little differently than maybe a guy that's just played receiver or just played one position. So I definitely think it's helped.
Do you think last year, getting those 6 wins but not getting selected for the bowl has really motivated you guys, some of the older guys, through the offseason and now through the start of this year?
Yeah, most definitely has, because, the year before we go to a bowl game and then the next year you don't, it's kind of a lousy feeling. So it's definitely motivation, and we definitely want to get back to that stage, and hopefully in a better bowl game at a later date. So it's definitely motivated us, and that's what we're striving for.
Well, Greg, thank you.
Yes,
we
sir.
appreciate the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Now, one question I didn't get a chance to ask Greg Campbell Jr. was about his basketball fandom, but Valerie Lopez does just that, finding out what Campbell and the Roadrunners think about one of the most fundamental and divisive basketball debates of the last decade.
Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
LeBron. Michael Jordan.
And why is that?
Because he's Mike. I don't know. That's tough.
I never really got to see Jordan. I got to see LeBron. And
I feel like you got to go with Michael Jordan because he was the first to do it,
That's tough. I'm going to go LeBron, though.
I'll go LeBron. I like what he's doing outside of basketball, too. So, not that Jordan never did anything, but just recently, I guess it's just because it's the most recent, on the news right now.
He may have been he been in the league 16 years, and he's still a beast, so Jordan can't compete with that.
I'd say Michael Jordan.
But then LeBron, he's doing things that's pretty unreal right now. So I'm going to go with Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
Mike.
And why is that?
I think he was the most fierce, consistent competitor of all time.
I think just his style of play just is more intriguing to me, I would say.
Michael Jordan.
Oh, definitely LeBron James.
And why is that?
Because he's better than Michael Jordan.
Close to my age. So, he in my time period. Like, people older than me like Jordan. I'm in this generation. I'm a ride with Brown.
One thing you can agree upon, 2 dominant forces in basketball, and one Roadrunner is ready to take his spot as the next dominant force on the defensive line. We'll learn how Kevin Strong Jr. has prepared himself for a starring role. That's up next. Welcome back to UTSA Football Insider. We're getting ready for the home opener, and if you haven't already, get your tickets for Saturday's game and the rest of this season at goutsa.com/tickets. There you'll find your go-to source for single game tickets, season tickets, plus a mini plan option. It's everything you need to know about how to make your game day experience at the Alamo Dome an enjoyable one. A force along the defensive line for the previous 3 years has caused high expectations to be heaped upon Kevin Strong Jr. this season. The preseason all-conference selection had the best vantage point to learn firsthand from Marcus Davenport, and Strong is ready to use that knowledge in his final season.
And he's sacked. Kevin Strong Jr.
Kevin Strong Jr. grew up in Cleveland, Texas, just an hour north of Houston. But even though he's in San Antonio, Strong is a Roadrunner because it felt like home.
UTSA they sent me letters every day. I came here, they showed me what a family was like. It was like I was just still at home, just going to play football at a school. Like, it was still family. I mean, I felt comfortable, so this was just, I guess all the love they showed me was the main reason I wanted to come here.
While the UTSA campus is 4 hours away from where Strong grew up, one advantage is that he created a whole new crop of UTSA fans.
Everybody back home is with me 100%. You know, we all family back there. I got my brothers, sisters, got my friends still. Everybody, I'm still connected with a lot of people. So, yeah, I can say the city behind me. So.
Strong grew up quickly with 6.5 tackles for loss in his redshirt freshman season. And he did have the benefit of watching and learning as Marcus Davenport developed into a first-round pick alongside of him.
Coming in with Marcus' freshman year is crazy because we came in at the same time. I got to watch him grow, and then he'd open the door so big for not just D-linemen, I mean the whole UTSA football team.
His desire to want to be a great player. At the time we got here, he was still a relatively young player. And you just watch his maturity and how he's developed physically, but also mentally in his approach to the game.
With ample talent along the defensive line, Strong understands his role as a mentor if the cycle and development of UTSA's next crop of pros is to continue.
Probably more significantly, he's led by example in the weight room, in off-season conditioning, in the classroom. He's on pace to graduate. And he's become a vocal leader as well for our football team, and to keep those guys engaged, the enthusiasm there, and the things that you need for the temperament of the game. He's been good for our football team.
I could say we're even closer now than before. It's just now I got to welcome them in. You know, I was getting welcomed in coming in, so now it's like the freshmen and stuff, I got to show them the love that UTSA showed me so they could be comfortable here. I'm always been the guy that if I could help, I'm willing to help in any situation. So, yeah, if I can, I like it, yeah. If any question they got me, yeah, some of them could be annoying or whatever, but I love answering them. Whatever question they got, I'm here for it.
And as Kevin Strong Jr.'s final season unfolds, he wants to leave his mark on the program for years to come.
Knowing that this is the last time everybody gonna get to see me perform, my last few memories at UTSA, everything. So it's all about just making the best and leaving people. I want the people to know that he was just an exciting kid, good personality. He did what he had to do for UTSA, so that's the main thing.
6.5 tackles for loss in 2015. 6.5 tackles for loss in 2016, and 7 tackles for loss in 2017. Strong's consistent production has already ensured he'll be remembered for years to come. Now, it's just about replicating that effort in his last time in a UTSA uniform. Kevin Strong and the rest of the seniors certainly remember Week 1 from last year. A look back at the emphatic start to the 2017 season when we return on UTSA Football Insider. September 9th, 2017, UTSA 17, Baylor 10. It marked the first ever win for UTSA over a team from a Power 5 conference. Jalen Rhodes rushed for 103 yards, Dalton Sturm led 2 key touchdown drives, and the Roadrunners held the Bears to their lowest output in 7 years. Here's a look back at the win. Before the Roadrunners face the Bears on Saturday, Frank Wilson breaks it all down for UTSA fans on this show and on his weekly radio show. Valerie Lopez has more on why there's a special connection between Wilson and Walk-On's Bistro and Bar.
This is the third season for head coach Frank Wilson's radio show. UTSA fans have the opportunity to hear the players and Coach Wilson's thoughts about the season.
So our founder, Brandon Landry, he was a walk-on for the LSU basketball team. At that time, Coach Frank was actually coaching football. So it just made sense when we came to San Antonio that we should support one of our favorite coaches who impacted our growth and also support this amazing university.
You know, just interaction with coach, with the student athletes, to get a preview of what's going on. You know, you have an opportunity to really get the inside scoop of UTSA football.
And it's great to get to meet other fans. There's a lot of other people here that are really out to support UTSA, and it's great to make new friends.
I came out to almost all of them last year, and so it's kind of a cool way to be able to shake his hand after the show and say a few words to him or some of the players that come out. It's a cool experience.
You get to hear the player interviews, which is really neat, getting to listen to their perspective, and then listening to Coach Wilson and the stuff that he's got to say and his perspective on what we're looking forward to for every game.
You know, Walk-Ons is an amazing brand. We had it at our other store last year, but we're really excited. I think this one is just perfect because it's so close to the campus. So we're really looking to embrace the campus. This is kind of our UTSA hub here. So we're really excited to have him here and happy that he chose this location as his home this season.
The Frank Wilson Radio Show will air every Wednesday at 7 p.m. live on Ticket 760 AM from Walk-On's Bistro and Bar at Huebner Oaks.
Our thanks to Frank Wilson, Andy Everett, Greg Campbell Jr., and Kevin Strong Jr. for being part of our show this week. The 2018 home opener is upon us, Saturday night, 6 o'clock at the Alamo Dome. For Valerie Lopez, I'm Mike Lefko. Thanks for watching UTSA Football Insider. We'll see you Saturday night.